What's up, everybody? Soul here with another sort of Convallaria video, and today we're gonna do it. We're gonna have our monthly state of the game discussion, where we talk about what's going on in the game, how things have been, how they're looking, and how I generally feel the game is in its current state. Before we get into any of that, let me preface by saying this: I absolutely love Sword of Convallaria. This game is a masterpiece. I made a video outlining this, and you should check it out, in what I called a love letter to the game, where I talked about all the things that I loved about Sword of Convallaria, its gameplay, its development, conception, the music, everything. It has really filled a hole in my heart that I had been missing for a long time. And with that said, I feel like it can go long into the sunset if maintained and driven and taken care of correctly. Sadly, that's not the case. Sword of Convallaria is not the game it should be. It's lacking attention. It doesn't have the love and the consideration that it warrants, in my opinion. It has an incredibly loyal player base, core group of individuals who play this game, and I love this community. Sadly, they're not given a lot to look forward to, and so we're going to talk about that. First things first, I genuinely have a lot of concern for this game. When you look at everything that's going on and you look at the game, which we'll talk about the metrics later, things don't feel very good. Logging in right now it feels empty. There's not a lot to do unless you've been missing, you're just jumping back in, then you're probably going to feel like there is a lot to do. However, for those that have been playing consistently, right now feels like a very big dead period or a lull, and there's not a lot to look forward to. That's fine. They're going to have lulls and dead periods. However, we don't have any kind of communication or understanding as to what's happening. Why? Don't know. It doesn't make sense. So let's take a look at it. We'll pop up the Discord right here. As you can see, the last time we have had official news and posted was October 28th last year. That's wild. Why has it been that long since we've had anything posted here? Communication flowed hot and heavy for a month after the game was released, and then it just died. And it died about a month after the release of the game, and then we got a devlog announced there. They had another devlog back in January, number 5, which wasn't even announced here on their Discord, but whatever. It's pretty wild, and the communication just is completely dried up. I've tried reaching out to them. I tried emailing. I've not gotten any kind of response, and I'm part of their content creator program, so it's a little disheartening. Let me just say that. We haven't had a code in forever either, any of these gyms or anything like that. There's not a lot of incentives. Now, I'm griping and complaining about how we don't have communication, we don't have any understanding. That's a big deal, because we want to understand the future of the game, what's happening, what they're planning. It's of the utmost importance for a game developer and a studio to communicate with its player base and to understand them, what they want, give them feedback, and receive their feedback. And so, but there's none of that happening. And you could argue, oh, it's, they're a Chinese company, there's language barrier, this is global, blah, blah, blah. Well, let's jump over to the Theory of Restart, XD Studios' newest game. Here you can see under their announcements, consistent updates, announcements, updates. No, and they're telling their player base what's happening, when and why. I mean, if you go back right here, boom, right here, a letter to all hyperlinkers. This is literally talking about changes in the game and what they're doing and why. They're giving understanding. They're giving time stamps. They're telling people what's going to happen. There's the code. Oh, and then they even follow it up with more. There's steady and reliable communication. Now, mind you, this game hasn't been out a full month yet. Is the well going to dry up as well, just like it did with Sword of Convallaria at that point? It's possible. It's really hard to say. But right now, they're putting a lot of love and TLC into Etheria Restart, and that's concerning. Why is that concerning? Well, we have a wonderful video here from Braxophone, and he outlines in great detail all the issues with Etheria Restart. And you see this in their player base. That's what their announcements that I pointed out were even about. They're changing core mechanics of the game, making it more difficult, more grindy, more of a slog, and gating your progress and what you can do with characters. And they have the game highly incentivizing PvP. It has all kinds of systems that we really want in Sword of Convallaria, and all of it's heavily gated behind monetization. That's a concern. This is the same studio that made Sword of Convallaria, and yet here we are. They're taking advantage of Etheria Restart's new player base and hype, and completely neglecting Sword of Convallaria, not even giving us access to those same things. But yet we still get shadow crept some of those same gates and changes. They've added this new system now where you have to have materials to rank your people up with this Immortal Recollection. What? Where did that come from? There's no communication on that. They just dropped it in the game. They're going to try to get more out of us, get us to play more, to grind more, but not even give us the content to do so. That's maddening. And I don't understand why that's appropriate. They introduce all kinds of new materials, not all kinds, but several new materials that allow you to really get a huge advantage if you're buying the resources to do so. And that's fantastic in a sense, but we're not incentivized to do this because there's not enough content to want to pursue it. We don't have end game. Why am I going out of my way to try to max out my characters and do something different, or to get these characters up, when I've been playing since the launch of the game and I have nothing to look forward to? I have no reason to build up characters other than for fun anymore. And you might argue, well, that's enough. I don't know. I don't know that it really is. I've got a team that destroys all content that I want to play. I've had 12 of those teams. Pulling for characters does not feel like something I need to do anymore. And it takes away from the joy of the game. I want more content. And yeah, I don't mind pulling for characters if I can enjoy them and explore new content, but exploring the same content over and over again is not a hit. It does not feel good. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about the events. The events in Sword of Convallaria right now are terrible. I think this is the worst event period we've had. I think back to Night Crimson and their launch and how amazing it was, how much hype there was. I was so excited to play, and I think the whole player base was. This Eternal Awakening, we're getting an amazing character, a few amazing characters. There's no hype. We're not excited for it. And this event system is not great at all. The Eternal Awakening, I think, is the worst event I've ever experienced. The fact that it's gated behind keys and energy, and it just feels bad. It doesn't feel like our interests or what they're worried about. I just don't think it makes sense. And then we get another fireside chat. I'm not impressed. We've done this. I see consistently where people are posting and saying that they don't feel like doing it. They don't think it makes sense to do it. The rewards don't match up. Or, there's just not a lot of interest. And I think you're seeing that in the player base and in the game right now, in the community. You get on the Discord, you get on the Reddit, you look at all those things. People aren't happy. People might be content, but not a lot of people are happy. And this is an amazing game. This is an amazing game. But they're not doing everything they can to really sell it and to give it longevity. And that breaks my heart. With that said, I'd love to talk about a few things that they can do to fix the game. And I don't think it's difficult. Number one thing is the easy, and it'd probably be the most impactful: communicate. What happened? Why aren't we getting updates? Where is the communication? How hard is it to send an email out to all the content creators and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Tell everybody about it. We're excited. Oh, here's a promo code for 300 Hope Luxite. It's minuscule, but it makes everybody happy. It's a minimal effort with a high yield reward. Why aren't we getting that anymore? Why am I on their Discord when they're not telling us anything anymore? What is happening here? Why won't you post? Give us updates. Give us something to be excited about. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make sense to me. And so, moving on, communicating would be a great way to improve the game. Very simple. Next one's going to sound like a big leap, but I really think it is something that would really truly benefit Sword of Convallaria. And that is catching global up with the other servers, the Chinese Taiwan servers. We don't need to have a delay. I personally think, and I've discussed this with others, Chronosphere, shout out to him, make sure you go check him out, sub and like his stuff. He's a huge player, Sword of Convallaria. He often tops the charts as far as all the challenges, number one, if not, number two, begrudgingly, but he's number one often. He's a phenomenal Sword of Convallaria player. And we were talking, and he said it too. Let's catch it up. Why is catching up global a benefit? Well, then we don't have to worry about this meta. And the meta, I'm going to tell you, the perceived meta that comes out of China kills the gaming global, kills the excitement for a lot of people, and it's a bad business model. If you release a character in China and the Chinese player base gets a hold of it, plays it, tests it, and decides what it's good and what it's worth, they can be completely wrong. Regardless of them being right or wrong, we on the global side are going to react to that. And so then here come the content creators and so on and so forth that are like, oh, this character's trash. And maybe they play the Chinese side themselves. Regardless, they know that the characters aren't good. And so they're going to tell you, don't pull on them. And I think that's good information. If you're free to play and you have limited pools, you want to pull characters that are going to really benefit you. If not, just have to make a game a lot of fun for you. And so you're going to avoid a lot of characters just because you understand and know very well what it does for you. Well, that's a poor business model. It really kills the amount of revenue you can generate. There are people out there that would gladly have every character and would pull on them just to know what they can do. But knowing what they do, they can make the decision not to pull on them and not lose any sleep over it. That's just poor business on their end. And then for us on the player side, I think the meta changes. It shifts often. I think characters come out and end up being strong. Nydia is a great example of that. Initially on the Chinese side, she was tanked. And then people on our side are still saying they're not going to pull her. But now on the Chinese side, she's grown in popularity immensely. And it's because of the newer characters that are coming out. And by the time we get her, people probably aren't going to pull because of old perceptions and news. And because not everybody on the Chinese side's caught up. And then by the time we get all those newer characters, we're going to really wish we had Nydia and she's going to be higher on the tier list. I don't know that would be a fact, but we saw it with other characters like Agatha and Convallaria. Initially, when they released, they weren't very popular. Then they gained popularity because of their piercing damage of what they did in tower adversity and so on and so forth. And so I think that having us on the same schedule would be a huge benefit to Sword of Convallaria, our enjoyment of the game, and the surprise, the fun, the mystery, if you will, of the game. I think it would make it a far more interesting experience for everyone involved. The next thing I would do to improve the game is give us tower adversity constantly. Why are we waiting months and months for a game mode that could easily be accessed at any time? Make it seasonal, just like you do with Clash, and give us a new challenge each season. Make it difficult. and give us good rewards for our efforts. Make their point thresholds. Maybe you want to place us and you want to create a leaderboard, whatever it might be. But give it to us constantly. Tower Adversity is peak content. I've seen people talking about it in the comments, and they're saying the same thing. Tower Adversity has been the most exciting thing in Sword of Convallaria so far, and we only got to experience it for a brief time, and it just is gone. Why not give it back? Keep it there, and let everybody just consistently keep enjoying it, and give us something new every month, every 2 months even. I'd even take that. Just do it. Give it to us. Not to have Tower Adversity for months on end, to only get it for a month or so, that's terrible. It's just not good enough. I don't understand why it has to be so difficult. Why can't just keep it in the game? And I don't want to sound whiny and blah, 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 but man, you want to talk about a near miss? Come on. So the last thing I'm going to talk about that they can do to improve the game is they can offer some social aspects of the game. And that's one thing they put in Ethereal Restart, and they really killed it. They drove it home. And in Ethereal Restart, you've got raid bosses, you've got co-op, you've got all kinds of stuff. Why not put that in Sword of Convallaria? Our guild system doesn't do anything for the most part. Occasionally we have events where you want to share things and proactively, share codes and things like that. It's purely social, and it doesn't really yield much as far as co-op. It doesn't feel like you're sharing the game with others, truly. Change that. Give us a guild raid. Give us a guild boss and let us fight it and whittle it down. And give us rewards for it. It's engaging, it gives us more to do, and you've already done it in other games like Ethereal Restart. You know you can do it. Give us co-op. Man, let us play a map where we can play together against an opponent. In a challenge even. I'd take that even if it's just temporary. Every few months we get this event where we get to do it. It's very fun and cool. I would love to see it. And they got the mechanisms for it because there's small pieces of live PvP in the game right now, so they can do it. Where we can take turns and play against, in a PvE fashion co-op. Or let us borrow units. Make having a friend more important than just farming reputation. Let's set up a unit as our showcase unit, so to speak, with a showcase build, and let that unit be deployable on maps as like a guest unit. And let us share that. It was done in Final Fantasy Brave Exvius, and it could very well and easily be done again, and can be done in this game. Like, give us it. It's going to make the game so much more fun. We're going to honestly feel like we're playing and sharing and doing something with others. It's going to help newer players or people that struggle with strategy games in general when they have a friend who really gets it and has powerful characters and has done something, and it's a flex. Those of us that spend hours and hours playing the game, we get to show off our favorite character and really make them a powerhouse and share them. It's a big deal. And then it also gives players another way to view those characters they don't have, to go for them, to try to get them themselves. Why wouldn't you want that? Rather than a preordained test where the map is very easy, where you just make a few key moves and you obliterate it to show how overpowered a character is for pools, allow us to have this system where it's a little more intimate, and we really get to enjoy a character and see what it can be done with it based on somebody else's build. And it will, I promise you, it's going to inspire people to pull for those characters even more. The characters that not everybody necessarily has or might not want to choose to pull for are going to be pulled on more because people have firsthand experience and enjoy playing it. With that all said, and I'm sorry for all that, I just think those are really good ways to improve the game that are nonsensical at the revenue. So as you can see right here on the revenue side of things, Sword of Convallaria is crashing down. We are losing revenue. We dropped 9 spaces down in the 70s, and we are paling compared to other games like Limbus Company. on the up, doing well, rising. We're doing better. We're doing worse than Langreiser. Like, what? We're down here. Revenue is down. Sure, it might jump up a little bit when we get Lufty and Espionana, but I don't know that people are going to come in and really spend on him. At this point, I'm just not confident. I thought people were going to go and pull for Aisha because of how hyped she was, but this is what we're looking at, despite the fact it doesn't look good. And I don't think new shiny bright characters are going to change anything when they're not giving us more gameplay and more challenges. So Sword of Convallaria needs to wake up on this. The same is true when you look at the Steam charts. And I know vast majority of players are mobile, and this isn't the best reflection of the player base and active play, but it still is a decent reflection. And as you can see, we're at an all-time low. We're trending down, and we've been trending down for 2 months now, roughly. And so that's not good. Like, we've hit an all-time low as far as 24-hour peak. Our player, right now, that player number, that jumps all over the place, but it's low. You look right here, like, we're just not doing good. Numbers are down. You know, it doesn't feel good. There's not a lot to be excited about, and it's scary. You look at what we've got right here. Let's jump back and look up right about here. We see where Aisha has jumped in, and we see where Afra's jumped in, and there's not a huge difference. And it's just been steady declining. We'll get a little bit of a jump again when Lufty pops out, and Espionana jumps out, and this, that, and the third. But it's really not going to be a lot unless they offer something new gameplay-wise. I don't know what's going to happen. You know, I just don't think it's enough. And then of course, you know, I keep talking about it, and I'm going to keep talking about it. We still don't have things like Kaya and Shaq Lulu. I mean, you're skipping characters and you're changing your banner schedule to try to maximize your revenue, and it's not feeling good when we're just missing characters altogether. Give them to us. You said you're going to give them to us free. Well, just do it. Let's go. I want to see these characters. So, I don't know. I'm really scared and concerned for the state of Sword of Convallaria right now. Things aren't great, and I think a little communication will go a long way. I'm going to keep pestering and messaging the devs, making posts, and communicating it through my videos, and hopefully we can see some kind of a course correction, because I know this game sells, I know this game generates revenue, and I know this game is phenomenal and a huge enjoyment to play. And I'd urge you as a viewer, part of this community, to do the same. Get on their Discord, message them, at them, make the comments, beg for them. If we can, let's try to get this game in a different direction. Let's get some kind of a feedback. Let's see what we can get from them, because I really want to keep enjoying this game for a long time to come. And right now, I'm not feeling the best about it. You notice how I didn't say any specific acronyms or do anything like that. I'm not going to do it, but I am concerned. And so, thank you for watching if you made it this far. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm sorry to rant and rave and this, that, and the third. My heart's aching, and I'm really concerned. Here soon, I'll be getting out a Lufty video where we give a preview. I'm sorry, not Lufty. The Espionana video where we get out a preview of what Espionana is going to do, and I'm going to give her a rating. And I can't wait to share that with you. Expect that here in the next few days. Make sure that you check out my other videos where I have talked about, you know, what's going on in the game otherwise, or I've looked at Afro, got some team comps, some really good fun stuff. I'd love to see your feedback on all of that stuff, and especially this video. Make sure you drop down in the comments. Tell me all about it. Tell me what you're thinking. Are you agreeing with me? Are you disagreeing? I'm happy to see it regardless. Huge shout out to my Patreon members. Thank you so much for your support. You allow me to make the guides and the content and everything else for this game that I absolutely love making content for. And make sure you check out all the links down below in the description. Discord link is there as well, where we talk all things Sword of Convallaria. And with that all said, thank you again for watching. I wish you the best in all of your Sword of Convallaria adventures, hopefully these devs come through for us and they hear us and we get some feedback, some changes, something. Until next time, I'll catch you later. Bye.